All right.
Three, two, one. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to episode 280 of the KBMOD podcast. I'm joined today, this lovely Sunday evening, by Brad, who has a memorial picture of Harambe because it is, I believe, the anniversary of that fateful day.
Yes, it
And
is.
and while Harambe did not he was not in the armed services. He sort of gave his life for all of us, so I suppose it's somewhat fitting that that's near Memorial Day. But no, Memorial Day is tomorrow. It's Memorial Day weekend. So Scott is not here. He's doing family festivities. But we do have Brad, we have KD, and we are also joined by Tim. How's it going, Tim?
It's going all right. How are you guys?
I'm doing fantastic. I hear you're in a thunderstorm right now, so we're hoping that we can hang on to you.
Hopefully, I can stick around the whole cast. Yeah. If I'm gone, I'm just consider me dead and don't come looking for me.
Noted. We'll make sure. KD is with us this evening. He attempted to intro the podcast, but if you're listening to the audio version of this, you missed what is sure to be one of the most embarrassing
Absolute
moments.
train wreck.
Yeah,
And this is why you have to watch live.
yeah. If you watch, well, in this case, it's probably a good thing you didn't watch live, so you didn't have to.
It was pretty
cringe.
bad.
But
Yeah,
but
you
you
should
know
be
what?
very happy that you didn't hear that.
You know what? It's okay though because he is wearing a very nice shirt this evening. So
Yes.
I can't stay mad at him too long. For the audio listeners, he's wearing a classic KBMOD A shirt. So you get to be horrified if you're watching this live.
I can't wait for the printing of the KBMOD Doom shirt. That's going to be the real.
That's
Like,
true, yeah. We should do like a
one.
special edition KBMOD Doom shirt. For anyone who
Only 10 in the world ever made.
Yeah, for anyone who has not tuned in live recently, we recently got some new emotes for the channel for higher tier subscribers. KBMOD Doom is well, I mean, it's basically what it sounds like. It's a Doom version of the A emote. And we also have KBMOD Terror, a terrifying version, or more terrifying, I should say, version of the KBMOD A emote. So tune in live, you get to experience nice things like that. But how's everyone's week been? Anything interesting here? Tim, anything interesting going on in your life?
Nothing too interesting. Just working a lot. I mean, that's pretty much it for me. No interesting bank stories this week. It's been pretty chill. So
That's
cool.
good.
I don't have anything fantastic. I usually have a good one to come in with, but
Yeah,
nothing lately.
yeah. I mean,
It's been
we
slow
brought you in
season
this
for
week and you couldn't
things.
think of anything. That's okay.
No.
AD, anything going on in your life? How are you not at the
in
Indy
and out
500?
of-
Doesn't everyone within like 500 miles of Indianapolis go to the Indy 500?
Oh my god!
Right.
It was. I had family members of the win. It was. I was looking at. I did watch it though. I watched like bits and pieces.
Well,
It
I
was
mean, you basically have
ridiculous.
to. It's religion up there.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if it gets blacked out for like I live in Indianapolis, and it
Wait,
gets
does
blacked
it
out.
really?
So it does, yeah. So
How does the Indy 500 get blacked out? It sells out like every year.
I don't know. They want you to go out and
Oh my
see
God.
for yourself. They air it at like 7 p.m.
What?
But yeah, we just
How have I
we
never
were able to
known
watch
this?
it.
That's
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah, it really sucks. I remember one year. It was a long time ago when I think like maybe like early high school, like summer break, we went on like a road trip to like Ohio and stayed at a hotel just so we could watch the race
Wow.
because like we weren't particularly like internet savvy at that time. Like
Few
this year,
mistakes
we
there.
were able to.
You
Yeah, we were able
traveled
to
to
find it.
Ohio, and then you watched a race.
Yeah,
Those are your two mistakes there.
yeah, it didn't really. I mean, Ohio's not a bad place. It's not really.
Coming from Indianapolis, it's flat and boring. Come on, man.
Okay.
I've made
all
that
right.
road trip.
I'm just trying not to upset our Ohioan viewers. Ohioan? Is that even? No.
I think that's right.
Yeah, we were able to watch it through various legal or not internet workarounds, and yeah, it was pretty exciting last couple of laps with Helio Castroneves being cucked at the last second by Takuma Sato.
Is that how the commentators is that what they told
That
you?
is word for word what the esteemed panel deemed that. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. There's just a crazy amount of people there. They showed like footage of I don't have the number of how many people, but they showed like what's it called, the snake pit, like the party they have like next to it. That was insane. Like the overhead like view of that.
Yeah.
And,
There's like
yeah, it was great.
there's like more than 300,000 people that go to the Indy 500. It's massive. Like you don't
Yeah,
realize how
it's
big it is. But then I've been once, and I just remember there are just so many people there.
yeah, it's really insane. And yeah, I was watching it. And they had a couple of like celebrity guests. They had like Jake Gyllenhaal, and they also had Mike Pence out there. And the group of people, like the relatives I was watching it with, are all kind of conservative, and so they're all like favoring Mike Pence. And then I make a joke about his eyebrows, like how he's always in like a
Oh, how
this kind
dare
of
you!
face. Like, and there was just silence. Like I kept giving people like the Mike Pence face whenever they talk, or like
You got to
which,
save
which
that
is
one for
just
the
kind of
podcast because your family didn't appreciate the Mike Prince eyebrows joke.
yeah, they weren't happy. You gotta know who you're talking to, like when you're around. Uh, yeah, you know. But yeah, it was still fun. But other than that, aside from the memorial service I had for Harambe this morning,
As we all did, of course.
yeah, it's all as any good American should. But yeah, that's about it.
How many times have you been to the
Recovering
Indy
from,
500?
I think maybe once or twice. I think I've went once when I was a little kid. I'm not really into racing that much, so, and like,
Oh, don't tell your family
Wow.
oh,
Don't
they
do
know.
that.
They're already ashamed of me.
that.
Like, I remember years ago, I would be forced to like go see qualifications with them, and it was just like, I thought it was the most boring thing imaginable. But now I watch it now, and I get kind of into it. Like, it's pretty exciting. But I don't know if I can break the news to them, like just shatter their whole perception of me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, recovering from a couple of illnesses throughout the past couple of weeks, which prevented me
Gout?
from being on last week's podcast. But
Was it
yeah, I'm
gout?
feeling better now. It wasn't gout.
Okay.
It was forms of very violent diarrhea.
Ooh,
Oh.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I don't want to talk about that too much, though.
They're telling us, I guess.
I mean, I suppose that would disrupt a podcast appearance, so that may be a smart move.
Yeah, I didn't want to subject any of our listeners to that. I mean, I didn't have the. It's not like they would have heard it or seen any part of it. Like, I don't have my computer in the bathroom, but
Well, not
I
yet.
always joke that like once I reach 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which will never happen, I'll do like a shitting with Katie Zen, where I record like a Modern Warfare commentary while I take a shit.
I mean, that's not a bad idea, though.
No,
That's
Absolutely
pretty
not.
unique. Like, it's dumb, but it's just dumb enough to maybe go viral.
yeah, for sure. It's it could be bad publicity, but any publicity is good publicity. It'll work.
God, Brad.
Brad, what have
There
you
we
been
go.
up to aside from mourning Harambe?
Not a whole lot. I got a job, so
Nice.
Congratulations.
Not a
Thank
whole
you.
lot, just a job.
yeah. Working for Sinclair Broadcast Group, doing some digital ad sales stuff. So that's gonna be interesting and new for me. So beyond that, not a whole lot. Speaking of racing, I just bought like 3 tickets for myself and 2 of my buddies to go to the Portland Raceway in like a month or 2 to go watch some races of just different classes. So like Mata BMWs, Miatas, and all the other kind of stuff. So yeah.
Not
That's-
quite the Indy 500, but get you started.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that like an oval track, or is it like kind of like a?
No, it's an actual it's not an oval track.
Okay, I don't know how to describe the other ones. So that's all.
Ones with turns other than left. Yes.
Yes.
And it's just not a drag strip either, so it's pretty big.
It's like a road
I believe
course.
they've had formula races there before, but I don't know why, but it's not a popular location for that. I'm not sure. I'm not into the culture, so I don't know why. But yeah, so that's kind of the job thing was big for me. Obviously, I've been trying for a while. For those that don't know, I'm doing some freelance work for a hardware company called Rio Toro. And they're relatively new to the scene. I'm still doing that, but that, of course, wasn't full-time work. And so I look forward to this. And I got confirmation I'll be going to the KBMOD LAN party. Or I at least have the time off for it already. So
Excellent.
Awesome.
yeah, so I am pretty pumped. So
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on the job, and glad that you can kind of schedule some things into your life now, and that you'll be with us at LAN. That'll be awesome.
yeah, for sure. So
Cool. Well, we'll talk about that here in a moment. But what have we been eating? Anything interesting? I feel like this has now become a staple of the cast.
Oh,
Nah.
this isn't too interesting. This isn't like interesting, but I never
You'll be
had
the judge of
Firehouse
that.
subs before, and
Ooh.
one opened up here in town, and I really like it.
Firehouse is my jam.
I've
never
gone
had it,
3 times
so-
this week.
Oh, it's so good. What did you get?
I have had the I had the turkey bacon ranch today. I had the smokehouse, I think is what it's called.
Nice.
It's like barbecue brisket and stuff like that. And then their like signature, I can't remember what it's called, but it had like mushrooms and mozzarella and a bunch of stuff on it, I think. I don't know. It's all been delicious every time I've gotten in there. I'm trying to get something different each time, work my way through the menu just so I can kind of experience it all.
Yeah,
But,
I typically get the Italian at Firehouse. We don't have any in California, but we have them in Texas, and that's one of my favorite kind of, I guess, like fast food. It's not fast food because they don't have a drive-through, but it's like
Yeah.
it's a sandwich place. You know, you just go in and get a sandwich. It's nothing fancy.
I like how they give a part of the proceeds back to local fire departments and shit like that.
Yeah,
Out of
yeah,
every
they have
order.
a neat story, so you
Pretty cool.
feel good about getting sandwiches from there. Well, that's
But yeah,
good.
I didn't realize that I knew they were building one. I didn't realize it was open. And as soon as I heard that it had been open for a while, I'm like, I gotta get over there, and I keep going back because it's close to work. So
Yeah,
really
I
just
wish we
make it
had.
through
I wish we had those around here. I really like that place. Any other interesting food? I don't think I've had anything interesting this week. Mostly been pretty normal stuff.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good food, but nothing really like off the wall.
Yeah, I didn't really venture out at all this week. All right.
That's fine. No one's
All right.
going to judge another person for not having,
Well, some weeks it's good that you don't have anything to talk about, because if you have interesting things to talk about, sometimes that means that you had bad food, like food that's bad for you. So
That's
like
right,
I didn't go to Taco Bell this week. So I don't have anything interesting to say about like Taco Bell or anything, which is actually a good thing for my health. It's just not good podcast material.
They did bring back the mac and Cheetos.
I saw that.
I
And
heard that.
I didn't get a chance to try them last time, so assuming they stick around for a little bit, I do intend to try those, just so I can
definitely
say
get
I've had
one.
them.
Yeah, like you'll have it, and then you'll wish you were having like a mozzarella stick in that style. It's like the best
Yeah.
thing about that is
I
definitely.
mean,
mac and
that's the
cheese.
thing is I've had fried mac and cheese before, and so I know it's good, and I'm sure
Mhm.
Burger King is probably not going to be as good as having fried mac and cheese at a proper restaurant. So I mean, I'm tempering my expectations, but I still definitely want to try it because it's like it's one of those things that I know I'll really like. So I will give that a
On
try.
your
but-
tombstone,
yeah.
on your tombstone, it'll say Brandon ate mac and Cheetos.
Well, it's just one of those things that I don't want to be someone who doesn't know what they taste like, because when someone like if I'm gonna consider myself some sort of food connoisseur, like that seems like table stakes,
Yeah, it does.
So all right,
If you want to be included in that mac and Cheetos conversation, you've got to.
that's the thing. I felt out of place anytime we've talked about it because I haven't actually tried it. So, I try. Whenever I see something interesting like that, I have to at least try it. Like I actually feel
Mhm.
I feel like I'm missing out by not knowing what some of these like fast food specialty items taste like. Like for example, I've never had a McRib, and I know that I'm probably not missing out
What?
on that much. But I've never had one.
I haven't had one either.
And
They
some,
aren't that great, but you got like it's just like
I know,
you're, like,
I know.
saying.
It's like one of those things that, like, just as an American, this needs to be something that I have tried and am familiar with. So if I'm going to be a master of American culture, that's a thing that I have to do at some point. So, I need to make my way through these specialty items, and I still have a long way to go. But all right, enough about food. What have we been playing? Let's start with Tim, guest this week. What have you been playing, Tim?
I've been playing a lot of stuff, like I always do, I guess. Let's see. I've been playing Injustice 2 since it released. It's not on PC yet. I don't know if it will ever actually come to PC, which may be a better move for NetherRealm Studios because their ports haven't been the greatest. And I don't think they want to go through the hassle and/or PR nightmare it is when they release a game on PC. So I've been playing it on my PS4. I really enjoy it. I enjoy NRS fighters. It's easier to pull off combos, so I feel like a better player even though I'm not. And really that's all I care about is if I look cool doing shit, and I'm having fun with that. I played through the story mode. It's over the top and stupid, but in the best way possible. So
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting from seeing it.
It was fun. It was enjoyable. Online, it has probably the best online that I have, like, connection wise, that I've played with a fighting game yet.
Wow.
I'll be fighting people that have 150 ping. We'll have 150 ping difference, but it'll feel like I'm playing right next to them in person. I don't know how they did it. I don't know what they're using, but it is actually like, it's amazing, to be quite honest. Like, they're able to pull it off because it lets you play a lot more people than you would normally be able to. It lets you find matches quicker. So it's nice because with a big problem with Mortal Kombat 10 when that came out was it took forever to find a match because it would try and find you someone that was within 50 ping of you. So it's nice that it does that.
You can't tell a difference when someone's like 150 ping difference? That's really surprising.
Yeah, I can't. It's kind of nice. Like, there'll be some matches where it is like playing through a PowerPoint slideshow, but most of the time it is like, if say I play like a 50 ms match one time and then 150 ms match the next time, you really can't tell the difference. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, it really is impressive. So I hope it does eventually come to PC because it would be fun to play with a lot more people that I know would pick it up if it was on PC. But I just don't think they're going to try and go down that path, because if it does turn out to be a terrible PC port, they'll just have a lot more bad PR in their hands that, just saying that they can't put out a good PC game because it didn't go well for Mortal Kombat, didn't go well for Injustice 1. So
yeah, I'm curious how it sold, how Mortal Kombat sold for them on PC, because I imagine that would probably be the deciding factor. Is it worth the work of building that port?
Yeah. So I've been doing that. I've been playing a lot of Gwent. It hit open beta on Wednesday, so that's pretty much all I've been playing since Wednesday is that there. It's no secret that I'm a huge fan of the Witcher series. Is
your obsession with Gwent more to do with how much you like The Witcher or how much you like card games?
I do enjoy card games. The fact that I do like The Witcher is a big reason why I got into it, but I actually do really enjoy the card game itself. If this was, say, like Fallout card game or whatever, just throwing it out there, everyone knows I don't particularly like Fallout games, but I would still play it because the game itself is so it's less RNG dependent than a lot of the other games out there. Like Hearthstone, you do have your archetype decks. You do have to strategize what you're doing with everything that you have, but there is the moment where you draw a card and it's like with your next turn, and it could just swing the game for yourself or your opponent. With Gwent, you pull 11 cards, and then you have those 11 cards in your hand for the whole game. You don't draw new cards unless you have cards like that will have you draw cards for yourself. So it's there's a lot. From my experience with Hearthstone and Gwent has a lot more strategy behind it. And from hearing Hearthstone pros play Gwent, they agree and they say the same thing, that there's a lot more thought process going behind with Gwent rather than just relying on that top deckum and reckum mentality in Hearthstone.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Gwent pulls like some of the competitive Hearthstone scene away, because like you said, I think Hearthstone has a lot of RNG compared to other card games, and that's always been something the pro scene has kind of, has I think has hurt Hearthstone over time with like pros' feelings toward the game. But I just don't know if another game will be able to pull them away, because Hearthstone is still such a huge game. Like, it's where a lot of the eyeballs are. So I'm curious if Gwent will be able to pull that away.
If they can keep putting money into it. I know they had CD Projekt Red threw on a tournament. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It was the Gwent Challenger tournament. It was right before, at the end of open beta. But I know a lot of like pros from Hearthstone entered into it and actually made it to like the finals for it, and were flown out to Poland. And there was $100,000 on the line. Like, it was, the prize pool was $100,000 for the event. So if CD Projekt Red can keep kind of getting events going like that and kind of increasing that prize pool, I think they might be able to pull more of the pros over from Hearthstone. So
yeah, that'd be cool. I should check out some competitive Gwent. I haven't really played it. I haven't played the card game at all. I'm only like mildly familiar with it from The Witcher.
Yeah, it takes some thought process. It takes some getting into it, but it's a pretty they with the open beta, they made a lot of the starter decks a lot more competitive than when it was in closed beta. So now you start off with, I think you get 3 golds that you can put in any deck, and then you get a gold per each deck that you have. And they have a nice kind of like challenge mode where it's single player, you play against a computer, and that's how you unlock all the leaders for the decks. And it kind of teaches you how the different archetypes are in the game, how the different decks work and stuff like that. You can kind of like, and they get increasingly harder as you kind of work your way through it. So it's a nice kind of tutorial to the game without actually like holding your hand through it and shit like that. So cool. It's definitely a fun game to get into, and you can go free to play and still be competitive and not have to worry about wanting to drop money on, the kegs, which is how you get your cards.
Have you put money into the game?
Oh, of course I have, but
okay, I was just
you don't
wondering.
have to.
I'm just trying to make sure that people understand where you're coming from, because if you've already put money into the game and it's only an open beta, that's a pretty strong endorsement from you.
Yeah, no, I put money into it when it was closed beta, knowing that I would get the kegs back that I spent money on going into open beta, but then I dropped another $40 on it since I went into open beta.
Cool.
Just because. So I enjoy that. Have I played anything else? I started World of Final Fantasy today. That's another PS4 game. I think it's an Xbox One. It's an interesting game. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like a mix between Final Fantasy and Pokemon. It's the best way I can put it, because you catch these different things that you use for your team, and then you stack them on top of your head, and then I really don't know how the combat goes. It's weird. But like,
that
it's
sounds
super,
like on paper great.
And it is. It's been great so far. I'm still early in the game. I only played a couple hours of it, but it's super. They're making a lot of references like to different Final Fantasy games in it. You actually can get different Final Fantasy characters to help out your team, or you come across different Final Fantasy characters as you go through the game, like from past games, which is kind of cool. And like, it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is what I like about it. Because all other Final Fantasy games, they have like their serious story and all that stuff, but this has like a really lighthearted feel to it, and I'm enjoying it so far. That's all I've really played, I think. Yeah, that's all I played this week.
All right, so going pro in Gwent. Interesting. KD, what about you?
I played a bunch of stuff over the last couple of weeks. I'll go quickly. I did that thing where I play a bunch of games for like very little time. So I didn't really invest like too much into, like, I've started like 3 different games and put like maybe like 2-3 hours each into them, except for Fire Emblem, but we'll get to that. Played some more Persona 5, some more Overwatch, I played some Rust for like the second day because I was inspired by, have you seen those Daniel videos where that guy is just hardcore trolling in Rust and Second Life?
Yeah,
oh my god, they're incredible. Yeah, that inspired me to play, but I didn't have any luck. The server, I think I played right before they're about to do like a server wipe, which was like the worst time to play Rust. So everybody's just trying to meet up and do PvP or something. But
Yeah, so in general, like there's a lot of people, they play Rust. It's either weekly or bi-weekly wipes, and then the actual ones managed by Face Punch, if you want to call it managed. They basically go through some provider and then put them out on the net, and then don't do any management. Anyways, those are monthly, so those wipe the first Thursday of every month. So
okay. I have another question for you too. A wooden spear, can that one shot somebody in the head? Like if you just throw it point blank at the head, is that capable of?
I saw it. I would have been pissed too.
Oh my god.
So for people, so I was watching Katie's on stream, and he was just going around being a cuck and saying
Hello?
friendly,
Friendly?
hello. And so somebody came out of their base with like nothing but a rock, and Katie Zen thought it'd be a good idea to, like, while they're just standing in front of each other, eyes locked, to throw his spear right into the dome of the person he's looking into. And what
It
I thought
connected
it would have,
perfectly.
yeah, just straight through. And what I thought would have killed him actually didn't, for whatever reason. So the guy actually took the spear that was previously lodged into his head and killed Katie Zen with it. So,
Well, that's some payback.
Yeah, I'm
and then
gonna
like
have to,
Katie Zen had the nerve to, like, while he was down, like, friendly, like, ask, like,
yeah, that was just not my night. I don't know. I'll have to look up the gun stats or the weapon stats for that game. So that clearly did not work. I remember just throwing it and then just being stunned. Like, I couldn't believe it was on my monitor that he was still alive. Running away from me with the spear lodged in his face. But, you know, still learning the game. And that's, you know, when you take L's, it's L for learning, dude. So that's just a positive way to think about it. But other than that, I finished the single player for Infinite Warfare a couple days ago.
What?
And yeah, well, I always want to keep up. Yeah, I brought this up a couple of casts ago, and I prefaced it with, "Please still be my friend after I tell you what I've been playing." But yeah, I like to keep up with the Call of Duty series, and I wanted to. I've heard all the bad things about Infinite Warfare, but I wanted to, like, see it for myself. So I played a little bit of multiplayer a few weeks ago, and then I finished all the single player, and it was a lot better than I thought it would be. Like, that, honestly, it might be one of, like, the top 5 single players of any Call of Duty. Like, it had some really great missions, like some of the best characters, like, in any Call of Duty game. Like, really likable characters, really fleshed out. It didn't really end, without really spoiling it, it didn't really end with a bang. But I like the ending. It was a fun time.
So you can confirm
yeah,
there's no
that-
nukes in the game. Okay, good call.
There are space nukes.
I say that's quite a spoiler that it doesn't end with nuclear warfare.
Well, no, I won't say anything, but, you know. But yeah, it was still a fun time. Like, it did some really cool stuff with, like, some of the levels, like they'll use the grappling hook in space, and you're going in, like, 360 degrees. And one mission, you go onto a ship, and you put on, like, the enemy soldiers, like, outfit, and you're, like, walking around them. Like, they're actually, the way it's set up, it's not like you play a mission, screen fades out, cutscene, screen fades in, you're somewhere else. You're constantly, you'll do a mission, you'll make the escape, you'll prep for the next mission, go back out. It feels really grounded, and they're really, like, there are side missions for you to do. Like, if you just play all of the main missions, it's a really short game, but if you're not playing the side missions, what I'm trying to say is, like, side missions plus story missions is, like, a little bit longer than your average Call of Duty game. So if you think about playing it, you should definitely play the side missions.
How long did you get out of it? Like, how long did you play it?
I want to say, like, I played it on PS4, and you can't really, like, track how many hours you put into a game, but I
Is it
want to
that
say
many
maybe,
that you can't ballpark it for us?
I mean, like, maybe 6-7 hours.
Okay, that's not
somewhere in
bad.
there. Yeah, it was a good length. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then played the multiplayer again for about 10 minutes before I wanted to put a gun in my mouth. And so, God,
Wow.
Sounds about right.
just-
Serious
yeah,
nowadays.
I can't. I don't know what the fuck they did with the multiplayer in Infinite Warfare, but it's just, God, everything kills ridiculously fast. It's just the map. I'm being taken to that place. I don't want to talk about the multiplayer anymore. But yeah, other than Infinite Warfare, let me see. I played like an hour or two of Darksiders on stream. That game was cool. The new Fire Emblem came out a couple weeks ago, and that game has been really excellent. It's a remake of one of the Fire Emblems that came out on the original Nintendo in Japan only, and it's a really faithful remake in the way where it's an exact copy, like really polished, which means like a lot of mechanics. If you're like me and you started with like the games that come out in the 3DS, it's gonna feel like it's kind of dumbed down, even though it's really bare bones. Like there's no rock paper scissors style weapon mechanic. Like there's no red, blue, and green weapons. There are no skills. You can only equip one weapon, and just a bunch of little like. And unfortunately, and this is devastating to me, but you can't marry people in it, which I'm still struggling to deal with that.
Shit, game, return it. You gotta return
Yeah, I
it.
know.
Did you say devastating?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but it's also kind of a fault too, like because a lot of the maps are very simple because it's coming from like a Nintendo game. Like coming off of the other 3DS games, you've got, at least from what I've played, there's nothing really like defend this area or conquer these certain units within like this many turns or something like that. It just defeat these enemies on this map and go. And a lot of the maps are kind of their design doesn't really hold up. Like that could have used some tweaking. But without a doubt, the biggest change is like for the first time, I think in a Fire Emblem game ever, it's 100% voice acted. It's not just like little audio quips, which makes a huge difference. Like you really care about the characters a lot more when they're actually talking to you, and they got some really good voice talent for the characters. Yeah, other than that, I played a couple hours of The Surge, which
How you
is
liking
like
that?
it's okay. It's cool. It's you know,
I know you're a Dark Souls fan, so I'm kind of curious on your opinion on it.
I'm a Dark Souls fan. I was not a Lords of the Fallen fan. And if you're unfamiliar, this
I love
is
Lords of the Fallen.
oh, you did.
It was
So-
actually tough bosses, unlike Dark Souls.
Yeah, well, I mean, the main problems I had with Lords of the Fallen are like the combat didn't feel like really weighty, and like some of the animations could use some work.
Yeah, I feel on that.
Yeah, but the Surge really it addressed a lot of my issues. Like, there's no more obnoxious camera shaking all the damn time. You can turn off the slowdown for certain moves, and it kind of took. What I really admire about it is how it like kind of made itself its own. Like it's not sticking 1-to-1 to Dark Souls. Like it doesn't like R1 and R2. It's not light and heavy attack. It's horizontal and vertical attacks, and it's a whole mechanic of attacking certain limbs on an enemy and then using the parts from those limbs that you break off to like build their armor set. But
Okay.
but yeah, it's there are some issues with like the camera and the lock on, because like if you want to switch targets, you can't just use the right stick because that switches what limb you're targeting. You have to like hold down L2 and move the right stick, but I find that just doesn't work half the time. And a lot of cheap deaths. Like there hasn't been very much like enemy variety. Like the default enemy is everywhere, and they all start with the identical attack, which is like a 50-foot lunge in front of them that comes out of nowhere and can catch you off guard. And I feel like there's not a lot of like that game is missing a lot of poise, where like you have to really really focus and like see what your enemy's doing, which is like coming from, what am I trying to say? Like sometimes you feel like you'll take damage out of nowhere and like you'll hit an enemy and it'll do nothing. But yeah, it's just a gripe. I really need to play more and get kind of like a feel for the game. But it's been surprisingly good so far. Like,
Are you playing it on PC or PS4?
I'm playing on PS4. I have a PS4 Pro, and it's managed to keep like a constant 60 FPS, which
Okay.
is excellent
That's
because
crazy, PC version. So you
yeah,
don't have
from what I've heard, it runs really well. I would have got on PC, but I received an email from my good friends at Family Video telling me I could get 1 free rental and 2 weeks of half off, dude. So I
Oh.
bust in the bitch. I pick up the Surge,
Wow.
5 days for free. And I'm like, this game is bomb. I want to rent it for 5 more days where it'll just sit and I won't play it. I call them. I can pay over the phone for only $4 another 5 nights. Now, if you're not like me and you have a lot of time to play games, you can finish several games in that time for a minuscule price.
Can we
don't
back
work
up a
that
second?
many
Did you say you paid over the phone?
Yeah, you can call them and give them your card information. Or
Wow.
you can be like, listen, I'm not comfortable with you giving my card information. Like, okay, you can pay us in the store next time you want to come in. I'm like, all right, cool.
As
That's
a
crazy.
as a banker that deals with fraud a lot, I suggest never doing that again and going to the store yourself. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was most like half the time I'm talking to somebody I worked with there.
Oh, okay. Well,
So yeah,
enough.
it's like, and I'd like to stress, used to work with. I do not work at Family Video people. I'd like to make that very fucking clear.
mhm.
But
Seems
yeah,
like
and
you
they
have some
that
fond
option.
memories, though.
I do. I originally, instead of the Surge, I rented Prey because I wanted to try that out. Biggest mistake of my life. That game, Bethesda software, ZeniMax, meant to be played on keyboard and mouse. If you play Dishonored, it's like that. It's meant to be playing keyboard and mouse. When I start playing it, it's got some bizarre issue with the dead zones on the controller, where if just resting your thumb on the left stick, like any slight like microorganism of an input will move your character. So you'll be drifting around all the time, which makes no sense. So, and the way to fix that is to uninstall the updates for the game and play the base version off of the disk. So that's a problem that came from updating their game. Okay, cool. And so when I play the I'm not going to dwell on this, but like when you play the original version of that, like the drifting's not there anymore. But now there's insane input lag. So like I could just not play that on PS4 until they address those issues. So if you're thinking about playing Prey, definitely get it on PC. Much better. But from the 10 minutes I did play, well, it was probably like an hour. The game looked pretty cool. I didn't encounter an enemy, but that game, I can recommend it. But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, sounds like you had a pretty balanced diet this week.
I did.
Man.
I'm working on like 7 flashcards at once, dude.
Yeah, really eating your vegetables.
Yeah. I'm not finishing my meals though. I'm just taking little bites.
Yeah,
Breaking
you're like
them.
you're definitely leaving some on the plate, but you know what?
There are kids in Africa that can't play games, and then you're over here just fucking chunking at different ones and not finishing your meal. How do you
yeah,
feel?
you're almost bragging that you just got so much time to play games.
No, that's the thing. I don't have time. I have a bad habit of buying games and not playing them. It's like, let's say let's say Amazon is Denny's and Fire Emblem Echoes is the chicken fried steak.
Okay.
I'll go there, I'll take like a few bites. This is really good. I'll take it home and put it in the fridge and it'll sit there for like a week until I can eat something again. And I've got about 7 chicken fried steaks in the fridge that I'm just chipping away at.
That analogy actually makes me pretty angry.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Brad? Have you been playing anything interesting?
PUBG, which I thought was the update was decent. I got to play with the new rifle, the VSS,
Yeah.
the silenced Russian rifle, and you know what? It's pretty good.
Is that a supply drop only?
No, it's rare, kind of like the Vector,
Okay.
Yeah.
but it can be in supply drops too.
Yeah, and it was pretty good. It was like I said, it comes silenced, comes with the scope, takes 9mm. It felt really well balanced. At least I thought. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. The patches I think PUBG has been doing has not only been great for the game, but also lighting a fire under H1Z1's dev team's ass, which is great to see. So But all in all, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying what they're doing to the industry. I've been enjoying what they're doing to the genre, and I like the game itself. And I just got done playing some Battlefield 1 today, which they still have not patched the Automatico, so I'm still frustrated about that. And then,
What, just nerfing it, or is there like a
yeah,
bug with
it still needs to be nerfed.
That game will
just-
be nerfed until 2 years from the game's lifespan. Then don't nerf it.
Wait
I
until
don't know.
Battlefield Definitive Edition, only on Xbox One. It'll have nerfed weapons.
And then, just watching all that Twitch RP for GTA 5, I decided to get back into GTA 5, which is pretty interesting, even if you get online, because it seems to be just full of hacked lobbies anymore. So.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I jumped in a game last night, and some person was nice enough to give me $10 million in in-game currency.
Yeah.
What a
So-
guy.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, I was immediately worried. Like, fuck, am I going to be banned now? Because I've heard of that in the past, where if you get money from it, like those hacked lobbies, you can be banned unless you contact support. So I contacted support this morning saying like, hey, I don't want to be banned for someone else doing. And they basically brushed it off. It was like, well, we have a system in place to basically detect whether or not whether you are at fault or if it was just like somebody else in the lobby doing this. So basically they told me to keep the money. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad that Rockstar really cares at the end of the day. So I went and bought myself some nice things and ran into a couple poles and called it good. So
There you go.
Nice.
um,
No, I meant to. Yeah, I don't think I've been on a cast where you talked about GTA RP, but I've really been enjoying that. Also, like,
Just,
I watch
Just wait
Well,
for Maze RP server to drop. It's going to be even better.
what RP?
Maze RP. It's
Oh,
going to be a 100-man server for GTA
Okay.
5 RP.
How many is it now?
It's not released yet, but they are
Yeah.
developing it right now. Early June is the alpha release. They don't have an exact date yet, but it's going to be a 100-man server for GTA
Okay,
5
cool.
RP. So you won't see the same. I mean, granted, with those streams, they are hilarious and they are fun, but there are
Mhm.
dead points. There are dead times, or you see the same people over and over again.
Yeah. I haven't laughed, like watching Lyric stream as Avon Barksdale.
Yeah.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
All those, I believe a lot of those people, if not all of them, are going to at least be trying out Maze RP. So it'll just be,
Okay.
I did a little bit of RP on a server called No Pixel for Armor 3. And for a while that was considered through a lot of people, like the best Armor 3 RP server that you had to be whitelisted for at least. There was like
Okay.
some on like whitelisted ones, but there'd be a lot of like shitlords and griefers and stuff on there. But a lot of people from No Pixel are moving from there to this server. So, and they are hilarious. They are, great, RPers. They really get in character and shit like that. And it'll be, I'm excited because I signed up as soon as I heard about it. And I'm just waiting for the server to drop because I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of. I'm just worried because let me look at, there's over 2,324 applicants right now. Let me see how many are accepted.
Damn. And I think GTA 5 is on sale on Steam right now.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see.
wanna
Applications.
look it up.
There are 1,854 accepted. And there's a lot more pending too. So there's going to be a lot of people signing up for it. Now, how many people are going to try and hop in right away? How many people are going to forget about it and just not bother with it anymore? Who knows? But it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome for, stream content. It's going to be awesome for, viewer content and all that stuff. It's just going to be hilarious. I can guarantee it. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Because
I've been enjoying those streams a lot, and I think one of the neatest things is that it's gotten more people into wanting to do RP stuff, which I feel like it's funny because in the days of like WoW RP, people, most people were like, yeah, that's pretty dumb, that's Care Bear stuff. But I think the GTA
term I haven't heard
RP
in a while.
is really, really compelling, and I'm glad
Yeah.
to see people taking it so seriously because it really is fun to watch.
It is.
For sure.
Lyrics
I can't be
brother.
allowed anywhere
Lyric's
ahead.
brother Dasmeti is actually the lead project lead on the whole thing, and
Oh,
he's
cool.
been doing RP on Arma on No Pixel for the last year and a half or so. So he knows what people want. He knows what people are asking for. He was a software engineer before he gave up that to stream full time and all that stuff. But so he knows what he's doing, and he knows what our people want in an RP environment. He knows what tools people need to be able to do what they want to do. So I'm excited to see where they take it and all that stuff. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I can be allowed anywhere near that. I'll just grief. The only RP for me is CS:GO jailbreak. That's all.
Shut up. Oh my
That comment was specifically to anger Brad, and it worked out very well. Brad, I was meaning to ask you, listening last week, you said you were like struggling to find a single player game or just any game to play, and I'm here for you. Like, let me know what kind of game you're looking for, and I guarantee I can find you something.
I'll pass, but thank you.
All right, mate, come on. Test the waters.
I mean, look, I have to say, KDZen kind of has he has the breadth. He's not going too deep in any one thing. He's like a game reviewer right now. He's just hitting a little bit of everything.
Here, hold on.
Game
I need to pull
reviewer
up.
without the reviews.
if KDZan can't find your game, I can find your game. Just
For once.
this is genre.
List us your
second.
needs.
1 second.
Do we need to make an eHarmony profile for you?
Just hold on. I'm pulling up.
Be right
I'm
back. I'm
pull-
pitching this.
I'm pulling up Facebook real quick because I need to reread a status that I read on May 25th.
I find you're saying I need to pull it up so I can block David.
People like to hate on Call of Duties, but I just finished Infinite Warfare, and that was a pretty good game. Thumbs up emoji
What's
from
wrong with that?
from David Ratcliffe. On
Hey, why you throw
Wow,
out the last
talk
name,
about-
dude? Come on. Wow.
Ooh,
I really upset you that much. Damn.
Well,
Alright.
the first reply was from Brad Hutchison. That said, "Well, you like Dark Souls, so opinion automatically invalidated." And then trash pigeon. But yeah,
I think the comment is definitely more condemning than the post.
that's why I
nothing
don't
is
go to
sacred.
Katie's End.
Find your own goddamn game. I'm done.
All right, I'll go real fast. I've mostly just been playing a little bit of Battlegrounds. I really want to check out more of the new patch that just dropped because they've been just dropping patches pretty much every week with a bunch of changes, and so I've been enjoying that still. It hasn't gotten old yet, but I haven't played a whole lot because I haven't always had people online to play with, and I'm not really I don't know what it is about solos, but I just can't bring myself to just hop in and play solos all the time. So that's been about it, though. I actually, I don't know. I might play some Battlegrounds tomorrow for the holiday. But anyway, let's get into other things here. We mentioned the Extra Life LAN that Brad is now going to be attending. That's going to be on August 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's going to be in support of Extra Life. We do that every year. So mark that down on your calendar. August 18th through 20th. We'll be
a little
live.
early this year, but
Yeah, a little earlier than
Yeah,
usual.
gotta get before con season.
Yeah.
That's what our thought process was on that. So
Yep. So we're doing it a little bit earlier than we normally do. The official Extra Life game day, I think, is in early November, or it's been in October in the past. So ours is going to be one of the earlier Extra Life marathons. But that's good because that means that you'll have money, when maybe you wouldn't later in the year. So save up those pennies, come and donate, and come hang out with us August 18th through 20th. We'll keep reminding you as we get close to that date. But we also had a couple other posts go up on KBMOD here. Tim, you wanna tell us about these?
yeah. So we had a little editorial from Soro6. He's a pretty big fan of Destiny. We all know that Destiny 2 is coming to PC now, and he just gives us thoughts on why the PvP in Destiny 2 should not include ranks, how it should just be more of a casual thing. So definitely look at that. He pretty much touches on how the game's revolved around PvE and not PvP. So he thinks that PvP should be more of a casual side thing, more so than a competitive type thing. And then Reddish Blue actually did a review of the Mod Mic 5. So, if you have a nice pair of headphones and, you don't want to mess with this big old, boom arm microphone setup, but you still want to be able to chat with your friends online, maybe the Mod might be for you. So check out his review on that and definitely make your decision based on that.
Cool.
And that's, I think, what we have this week. So
Yeah, so
Yeah,
a
the
couple
mod
posts.
mic looks awesome. Like I was really surprised with the quality from that.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah, I didn't actually realize the mod mic had a little magnet where it actually like sticks to your headphones, which
I
maybe
didn't know
everyone already knew that, but I didn't realize that it actually like basically would work on pretty much any headphones because of that.
Yep.
So
As long as it has a flat surface, it's good to go. So
yeah, I like the pictures he has. It basically looks like part of the headset, until you realize that it comes off.
see, I wouldn't really work on your Mad Catz headset, which is like looks like a D20 on the side of your head.
Yeah. Well, so let's hop into some news. It's a fairly slow news week, I feel like, because we're kind of coming up to E3. So I think I'm sure for the next couple of weeks until E3, we'll probably have less and less video game news coming out. But there's always some sort of controversy going on between content creators and publishers, and this week was no exception. Our first news story here: Wargaming threatened a YouTuber with a copyright claim, and then, surprise, backed off on it and apologized.
This is delicious. This is my favorite kind of YouTube news.
Yeah, so it was like a World of Tanks related video, and the creator in question took issue with one of their tanks, and I'm not super familiar with with all things World of Tanks, but it's like an $80 tank, and he was very upset with it, and so obviously criticism is pretty fair game, and publishers should probably come to expect that. But apparently, Wargaming threatened that they would give him a copyright strike on his YouTube channel, which of course, would make bigger news than if they had simply ignored the video. But then they went back and apologized. So, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Also,
I think that it's worth mentioning that the tank he's upset about, you have to pay for, right? And it uses like special ammo, but the only way to destroy it as well is ammo that you have to specifically purchase. It's not ammo that you just get from playing the game. So it's literally pay to win, because not only is your tank stronger and more powerful than the other tanks, but it's also like impossible to kill it without actually paying into the game. So literal pay to win here.
that's terrible design.
But that's the thing World of Tanks has kind of always been that way.
That's
terrible in design.
No, World of Tanks kind of has that reputation for being kind of a pay-to-win style game.
Oh, which I don't doubt, yeah. But still, when you think about it, like one tank for $80, and then specifically only able to be taken down via special ammo, does seem pretty ridiculous in the end. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for the free-to-play model, and a little here and there, where making it tougher for people not willing to pay to like not have the edge as somebody that is, but to the point where you are basically forced to buy something in a free-to-play game, seems a little unreasonable, especially for this price point. Just seems crazy to me. But.
Yeah, I think the point seems very reasonable. I think it sounds pretty exploitative to me on your player base, because if someone has put money in the game and then they're slowly changing it to where you can only stay competitive if you continue putting money in, that seems pretty bad. But that's also what a lot of mobile games do. So I don't know. I feel like people should just vote with their wallets when it comes to World of Tanks. But they still seem to be making money. They seem to have a player base. But I do think it's pretty ridiculous that they made this kind of threat. And I think it's like I hope we stop seeing stories like this at some point, but I'm sure we won't. That like it I feel like this threat of like copyright strikes or DMCA notices always looms above content creators who threaten to, who might give any criticism over a game, and that that's not a good environment. Like you should just accept that some people are going to be critical of your content.
At least it's not Nintendo.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like that's Nintendo is Nintendo is even, I think, slowly learning. It's just funny when you would think that Wargaming is a company that kind of understands this, because they do have
Right.
kind of a sort of a dedicated group of people that enjoy playing that game, and you would think that they would continue like putting themselves behind the people who even if they're critical of their game, right? Respond to those people. Don't threaten them with a copyright strike, because like that's just it's never going to work out. Never going to work out. But they did apologize, of course, after it makes news. They're obviously very sorry it happened, I'm sure. Next up, talk about Far Cry 5. Pretty much like the only, I think, big game news this week. Far Cry 5, we got some details. We got the cover art, and I think
That cover art is
that cover art, man, it's
lovely.
yeah. Brad, do you want to take this one? I feel like you're uniquely qualified to talk about this story.
just like I wrote in the notes here, it just reminds me a little bit of home. But basically, it's just this Far Cry is bringing the story to the States, basically, in kind of setting the tone of religious fanatics are pretty crazy, and they can be, and we're making a story around that. And so and this is new. I mean, this is definitely something unheard of, especially when you're going directly for essentially the American people, right? Like, I mean, a large part of your audience, your consumers, play and live in this same place, and then they base it off of that culture. What we previously knew as like, just think of previous Far Cries where you dealt with like warlords and drugs and crazy fanatics and riding elephants into fucking bases with machine guns. I mean, so when they bring it back to basically the countryside of Montana, it's gonna be different. The only reason why I say this reminds me of like what I grew up with is just because it's I grew up in a small town in Eastern Oregon, and there are some fanatics, not like, I don't think like this, but I mean, some of you may have heard of some of the people that like took over the Malheur National Refuge, and it was on the news for what I felt like months, and I feel like that kind of stuff is similar to what Far Cry is hoping to look at as American extremism. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to me. I'm definitely picking it up. I mean, I've had fun playing Far Cry, so this is crazy to me. Just what they're looking to create content off of, and I honestly hope we see more of this. Ubisoft's had a history of kind of bringing the roots back to like here in current day, like United States, especially like recently with the second what's that game called? Watch Dogs. Basically, where was that? San Francisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which perception there was pretty positive as well. So I imagine they're like, okay, let's keep doing this. And this offers a lot of creativity. This I don't know. I think it was great.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I really hope it's not like it's another jump like how Far Cry 3 was a jump, like how 4 and Primal weren't really, like it was just building off like the formula from 3, you know? Like
Mhm.
so I mean I hope it's more. I hope they go all out. And you know, I want to get excited for this, but then I remember it's being published by Ubisoft.
I hope
and,
I have to take over 40 farms and take out each outpost member and stop the cows from ringing their bells as alarms and shit like that. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh my god. You can tame cows. It's like instead of elephants or like wild animals, it's like
Fucking
hunting.
ride a
like
steer in the
American
battle.
wildlife. Like you need to hunt down these opossum. Oh my god. The potential.
Yeah, it's
I'm excited.
I mean, the game. If you had just asked me if I'd be interested in a game called Far Cry 5, I'd probably say no, because like how many Far Cries are they gonna do? But this is definitely kind of edgier than I would have expected. Like it's a pretty edgy setting and gets a little political, even if that's not what they were going for. Like you can't help
Of course,
but
yeah.
make this game without it kind of getting like turning heads. Obviously because this is not exactly fictional. Like obviously the setting they're going for is fictional, but it is very much rooted in things that have happened and do happen. With like religious extremism and people that have like strongholds and white supremacists up in the woods, like those are real things that have happened. So it could be an interesting story. Like I'll be interested to see where they where they take it and like how edgy they really get with the story.
I'm curious how they're gonna, I guess, do everything. I don't know, like, because Far Cry 3, 4, and Primal are like, open world, you have space in between areas, but each area like has its own like personality. Like I don't know how they're gonna do it. Like how
Well, Montana's not very. It's
Yeah.
not Pittsburgh, so I mean, it's very open.
it's very open, but like how many times can you dress up a barn or a farm? Like in different it's just like that's my biggest kind of concern with it. Is it going to be interesting
there's
to
not
actually explore?
If there's not a Denny stronghold to raid in this game, then it's not going to be an accurate representation of America. But yeah, I was going to say, like, if you thought people were upset about, the baptism and BioShock Infinite, like, I can only imagine, like,
Yeah.
if you're a casual Christian, there's no way you don't have a problem with playing this game.
Yeah, it'll be
in any
interesting if people take offense to it once they learn more about what the story is or something. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm wondering is how out there will they go, before they risk lower sales, because these kinds of people might be people that buy Far Cry. That's what I'm wondering is like, we know the setting is a little edgy, but like, do they make an edgy story where you have to either make some tough choices that like don't feel good as an American, or I think they have some interesting opportunities, but I wonder how far they'll go with that because this is still a AAA game, that they want to sell a lot of copies.
I just want to see
want to know if I can
graph. Go ahead.
I just want to know if I can get what the DLCs are going to be, what different takes you can
Oh my
take out.
god,
I
Far
guess.
Cry 5 Blood Dragon, please, God.
Snake cult DLC. You have to battle off the snake cult that they worship a snake. They deal with all that snakes, like that one X-Files episode.
Like the reptilian overlords?
Yes.
Oh my god. I would buy the shit out of that. I would drop $80 on.
The Scientology DLC.
Wow.
Oh my god. That'd be amazing.
I'm just
I
the
just want to
possibilities.
see I want to see a line graph of percentage of pastors that play the Far Cry series, like as the series goes on. It just plummets. Oh my god, Reptilian Overlord DLC. I would fucking cry.
Apparently there are some of the things we know. There will be tractors. So that's
Yes.
that's interesting. That's very, very Montana. You'll be able to hunt and fish, which is interesting.
Fishing is new. Fishing is
new to this game, and you can hire dogs to steal guns. So, I mean,
did I hear that correctly?
that you did. You can apparently hire dogs to steal guns.
Well, there's DLC opportunities right there
Excellent.
in your dog.
$2.99 a dog.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ubisoft.
You can and you can hire people to shoot guns, according to this article.
No, that's not worth it. If it's
Yeah.
not a dog shooting people, then it's not.
Yeah, no word on whether you can hire dogs to shoot guns. I'm not sure about that one.
The purchase is really hanging on that that clarification for that feature.
But also apparently the Far Cry 5 will support 2-player co-op across the full campaign, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
I could see that being fun to go through the whole campaign with someone else.
Oh, I gotta tell APL. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Well, I don't know though. He's a pretty religious
Wait.
person. He may not want
They
to play this
haven't-
game.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
What's the co-op been like in previous Far? I've never done it. Has it just been like you have to get so far and then you can do co-op, or like?
I'm not sure. I think there have been like co-op, just like set aside little scenarios for you to go through. I don't think the entire campaign has been.
Oh,
co-op.
okay.
Yeah, I think it was.
know.
I think it was just side quests.
Okay,
But apparently the whole
Well-
campaign will be co-op, so that's kind of neat.
that's
I guess the question I have is whether the person you're playing with can be playing a dog, so that they can get guns for you and then shoot the guns.
how shitty would that be? Your friend asks you to play Far Cry 5, and all your job is just to go and get guns for him. You can't do anything else except gather guns. That would be.
You're just a dog.
You're
True,
just
true co-op play, cooperative in
Thank
the
you,
in the
man.
strictest sense of the
You'll give
word.
me that. You'll give me that.
It's like a Left 4 Dead 2 mod where like your view model, you have like it's a dog's like paws rigged to the gun. He's like standing up on his hind legs with an assault rifle. Oh my God.
That would make for
Make
some great
it happen.
content.
Think of the money could make.
Think of it.
That's just where my head is at. I know that people will buy like dog DLC.
It's
Yeah.
just. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
well, I
think
think
Far
We're
Cry
living right now.
You think Far Cry 6 will go into that like underground dogfighting arena? Like really delve into that taboo?
yeah, I'll be curious to see where they go. After this, like this is, I think Far Cry 5. Like I said, Far Cry 5 to me is not an interesting title. Once you get to the number 5, you're just, how many more of these are you gonna make? How many
Yeah.
times are you gonna go back to that well? But this
You
is
know,
actually
Especially because each game is different. It's not like they're building on the same story each time.
yeah. I almost
Mhm.
wonder at some point, do they just stop? Like, do they make Far Cry into more of a franchise name instead of just a game series? Like, I think this would actually be a more interesting
Yeah.
game to me if they called it like Far Cry, and then something else. Like the actual
No,
game
I-
was called something else. So that this, I don't know. They wouldn't be tying it to the Far Cry name itself. Far Cry would be more of kind of just this understanding of like what the game will bring you, but it's not, because it's not the same storyline. It's not really the same type of game.
We know for a fact at one point the next Far Cry is going to be called Far Cry. Like, it's just a matter of time. Like, just how the new Hitman was called Hitman.
Yeah, well, that
Or
might
the
actually
YouTuber.
that might make more sense. Like, yeah, at what point the game is
Oh,
basically episodic already.
I would
Is it
do
not?
that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't want them to do that. I mean, if they had like, I mean, I don't think it would make too big of a difference, but like Rise of the
doesn't.
Far Cry or
Yeah.
like titles like that.
It's more
Far Cry
I just,
American Nightmare.
like, this is not a game I thought I'd be interested in, but based on the setting and the screenshots and kind of what they're talking about, like, this game sounds interesting to me, but I wouldn't.
Mhm.
It's just Far Cry 5 feels like such a pedestrian name for what is a pretty different game than they've done before.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But anyway, we'll hear more. I'm sure we'll hear more about that probably at E3. But they, as Brad
that's-
pointed out before we started the cast, I think they kind of made their move to get in and kind of take advantage of a lull in the game press cycle, because no one else is really making announcements right now. So Far Cry sort of dominated this whole week.
I could see that, but at the same time, I would have liked an E3 reveal. I'm all about E3.
They're gonna show gameplay at E3 now. Like that's kind of the thing is
Yeah.
that they announced the game now. They're gonna show gameplay at E3 and they're gonna release it at the end of July. I'm
just
that's
tired of
Ubisoft
like.
now.
I wanted like I don't really like the just me personally, like this is entirely just a personal thing, but I don't like really casual game reveals, like how they just tweet that Dirt 4 is coming out or things like that. They just upload the trailer. Like E3 is when like the world is watching.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's I think that's the thing though, is right now the world has no real gaming news for this week. So Far Cry gets to be the only thing this week, and then now people are looking forward to whatever they talk about at E3. So it's like it won't get drowned out. I think they may show gameplay or they may talk about something more
purely
substantial.
strategic. Well, I think there's
I see
also
what you're
some
saying.
leaks happening, but I think beyond that, I think yeah, it was purely strategic. I think because next week's gonna be huge, whether you like to admit it or not. I mean, like, people are gonna be bringing it this year. I mean, we've already seen some amazing titles, but I have a good feeling we're gonna see some nutty stuff. But
Kingdom Hearts 3 release date? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, right. Now in development. I'm telling you, dude. Like, no, I don't think it's gonna happen. But if we see now in development again, I'm gonna be furious with you. But I wouldn't be surprised if they say it again. But a part of me wants to just like not go on Twitter or Facebook or anymore for the next couple weeks because I just fucking can't stand leaks. Like, I hate it so much.
Well,
A good question in chat. I think we should save this for like the viewer questions, or
we have
top 5
we
things.
have 2 more casts between now and E3.
Okay.
If we do a cast on the 11th, that would be the same night as some of the E3 reveal stuff.
When is E3? I think I have like a 5-day weekend during E3. Yo,
Oh
I'm trying to
shit!
do that E3 content.
someone fly me out.
But yeah, I'm
Also need
sure
to talk about
like this
think it'd be fun, yeah.
next week or the week after is going to kind of be the here's what we'll see at E3, or here's what we hope to see at E3. Those will be all the articles you see coming out in the next week or two.
Yeah.
So I think it was smart of Far Cry to get ahead of kind of that huge rush, because now they'll have people waiting to see what more we hear about Far Cry. And they got a ton of news articles they probably wouldn't have gotten getting all mixed up in the E3 shuffle. So
True.
I'm sure we'll hear more about that soon, but there was a bunch of articles about that this week, so it was hard to escape. Our last bona fide news story here was kind of an interesting one. The game Rime, I think, comes out this week, or maybe someone mentioned might already
It's
be
out.
out. Is it out? Okay.
It came out a couple days ago, yeah.
Okay. So it just came out. The makers of Rime basically issued a challenge to crackers, saying crackers as in people who crack games.
crackers as in Far Cry 5 antagonists.
I imagine in hindsight some context was needed there, especially after the last news story. But yeah, they're using de novo DRM, which some people might know is kind of some well-known DRM in the game scene. But it's been cracked before, and they basically say that if they crack the de novo DRM on their game, then they'll launch it DRM free. So I think we've maybe seen this before, where games really only care about DRM for the early part of the sales cycle. But if this is like the first time we've seen, I think, a developer say very clearly that if it gets cracked, they'll literally just release a version without DRM, which is kind of interesting. What do you guys think?
I think it's I don't know. I think it's a bold move. It's basically like them saying, "Come at me, bro," and it'll be. I mean, someone's gonna do it. Someone's going to.
Yeah,
crack
I'm sure
it
once you issue a challenge like
out
that, I'm
there.
sure they
Yeah.
will.
So I mean, good on them saying that they'll just release it without it after someone does crack it. I don't know much about cracking games or pirating games and all that stuff, like what goes behind it and all that. So I just know that de novo is kind of like a tougher one to get through, but like you said, people have gotten through it on other games that have had it. So I guess it's just a matter of time until someone does.
Yeah, I think it's it is bold on their part, but I also kind of like it that they're basically saying, look, if this gets cracked, then we're not going to force you to go through hoops, if you're a legit customer, um, because people oftentimes a lot of people will have to make like cracks that aren't necessarily nefarious in purpose, like especially when you used to have CDs and you had to like have CDs in to play a certain game. You would always have like no CD cracks and things like that. So I think it's nice that you see a developer say basically, look, if it gets cracked, then we'll take it off. Because it's basically not effective at that point anyway. It's just that you're going to force people to look for cracks, instead of just play the game. So I think it's smart, for what it's worth, it gets them a news article or two that they may not have had otherwise. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, if anything, it gets eyes on their game. And
Yeah,
I mean, I hadn't heard of the game, and I looked at it, and I made the comment for the cast. It looks like The Last Guardian, but like it was actually supposed to release this year, and not 10 years ago or something like that. So it looks interesting. I might actually pick it up eventually.
yeah, and if the DRM, I think DRM basically is pretty much it's most important in the early days of the game. Like later on, it's a lot less important just because there are so many fewer eyes on your game after the first few months. So if they're confident that this DRM won't get cracked, except in 90 days or something, then they're probably fine, and this gets them some goodwill with the people who do care about their game. So cool. Let's move on to some quick hits here. I put this in just because PUBG is all I've been playing lately, and so figure it's worth highlighting that they did add a recent patch. We talked about it a little bit, but they added a new sniper rifle. They added a single like a regular motorcycle. So they had a motorcycle that had a sidecar before that was pretty fast, but now they've added just a normal motorcycle that goes really fast, and you can do stunts on the motorcycle. Which
I saw a GIF of that. It looks badass.
That's insane.
I love that they added this when like this clearly was not that important, but it's so good. Like there's so many good moments and good GIFs and stuff now that they've put this in. I've already seen people doing like double flips and stuff, when they go over a hill. It's just really neat. It seems like they're having a lot of fun with updates to the game.
Little quality of life stuff like that just makes games that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's like I think things like that make the game it keeps the game fresh. It makes it fun. Like the fact that I can, if I'm not taking my game too seriously, I can go pull some sweet tricks on my motorcycle. That's pretty cool. So they did add that. I think those are like the main things.
Does that mean I can drive again? I don't have to worry about crashing as much.
Well, no. I mean, if anything, we have to worry about crashing more because you're going to be worried about getting that sweet trick off, and maybe you land upside down.
Yeah. I remember I was playing with APL and Nalsham though. Wow, when I was on the bike long time ago. I had a small bump. Didn't know that it would kick you off of the bike.
Oh yeah.
I thought that we could take it, and yeah, we both just fell to our doom. So exciting new new patch. And also, I wanted to throw this in here. His Twitter, he just tweeted. This is breaking news, by the way, courtesy of the KBMOD podcast. Breaking what? No, I'm not gonna do a drama alert intro, but no, he put up a video of testing out a new feature, which shows a very early prototype of vaulting over ledges and mantling mechanics. So could be coming soon.
That's sorely
a whole different way to play the game. Yeah, for sure. I agree.
I get frustrated seeing like a 2-inch wall and not being able to get over it sometimes.
Yeah.
That has plagued me.
This was for Player Unknown's Battlegrounds. So what we're talking about. PUBG is how people typically abbreviate it. So that is a neat patch. I want to play it more. They actually also changed the final circles to go a little bit slower, which I think is a welcome change, because those final circles usually, like, they would go so fast that it would favor people that were already in the center way too much, in my opinion. So, so they're making little quality of life changes here and there, and I'll be interested to continue following that game's development. So yeah, check that out if you've got PUBG. We play sometimes. Hop in the Discord server, and you might find us playing every now and then, especially on the weekends. Last up, we have some unfortunate news. I'm not sure if we talked about this on the cast before, but the Hitman developer, IO Interactive, it was announced not this past week, but it was announced a few weeks ago, I think, that Square Enix was looking to sell off IO Interactive, which was kind of, I think, surprised a lot of people, and it was really unfortunate because the Hitman games have done pretty well, and we've talked about them on this cast. I think they're a lot of fun, the latest Hitman game, and I think Season 2 is currently in the works, or was currently in the works.
Yeah,
we don't really
is it anymore.
That's the thing. We don't really know now because of this news. So Square Enix announced they were looking to sell off the studio, and then this past week, IO Interactive announced that they were going to be laying some people off. So unfortunately, the note that they put out, they just put out a tweet updating some, basically very vague language about, their sad that great talent and good friends will be leaving the studio. No idea what that means. So we don't actually know who they laid off. It's possible that this, was maybe like support staff or some other, it may not be people like critical to putting a game out, but layoffs are never a good thing, obviously. And so the future of the Hitman franchise is still kind of in question, which is, I think, a real shame because that game is pretty neat. And it's unfortunate that Season 2 seems like it's kind of up in the air now because we don't know what will happen based on all this news. So hopefully future news is more positive, but it's kind of been a string of negative news for IO Interactive as of late. You guys played Hitman, right?
I played it.
I played it. I enjoyed it. I had issues, like technical issues with it here and there, and like when a new patch comes out, there's a new issue that comes up with the game, it feels like, as far as performance wise, and then another patch comes out and everything gets cleared up, it feels. But it's just it sucks to hear because like it's just like you said, it's just a fun game to play. Seeing the different ways you can kind of take people out, and I mean, hopefully this doesn't mean the end of that game, but it might.
Yeah,
and
I'm
hopefully
kind of
someone else kind of picks it up. If
the
that's
news
the
has
case.
really surprised me because this Hitman game, I feel like, has been the most popular and most talked about Hitman game they've ever made. Like, I don't ever remember a Hitman game having the kind of publicity that this latest one has had. So it really is surprising that now is when they're having problems. As compared to, when they were putting out some of the older games that I haven't really played through. Like, I played one of the Hitmans from the past, but it didn't really draw me in the way that this latest one did. So hopefully things work out for them. Like, I hope they can come out of this and continue making more seasons of Hitman, because I think it's really good. But we'll kind of have to wait and see. But layoffs, definitely not a good sign. You know what is a good sign?
Situation.
Whether there's new Hitman or not, games are still coming out every single week.
Ooh,
KD, why don't you tell us about some of the new releases from this week?
that crispy segue. Yeah, let's get into it. Got some good stuff this week. First up is a game called Perception, which has been in the makings, kind of undercover for a while now. Most importantly, it's being made to games. It's their debut title, but it consists of veteran developers who have worked on BioShock, BioShock Infinite, and Dead Space, which are three of my favorite games of all time. So the hopes are really, it's a first-person narrative horror adventure where you play as a blind woman, and you sort of echolocation and enhanced hearing, and horror titles, so there are things trying to kill you. And yeah, so if it's being made, you know, don't want anything from Dead Space 3, hopefully, anything from that title. I'm thinking, you know, from all three of those titles, I'm thinking like the storytelling is going to be top notch in this game. So yeah, hopefully. But yeah, the game comes out May 30th on Steam, but some reviews have already been rolling out, and it's not looking too promising.
Really?
So yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, if you want to see for yourself, 30th, yeah, it does suck. My hopes were, anyways. Well, can they? No, I was gonna get in a rant about the current state of Dead Space, but I don't want to. That'll just make me depressed. But yeah, May 30th, Perception.
Yeah, it looks like an interesting game. I like the premise.
I played a game like that at E3. It's not this one, but it was a VR game that has kind of the same premise. So I'm not sure if this will have VR support or if they would capture what I played, but it's definitely an interesting idea for sure.
It does, yeah. Which, yeah, when I think about it, I feel like that's something like a mechanic I've seen in other games before, kind of using like the echolocation to see around you. But yeah, hopefully they bring it. But next up is a game called Lock's Quest, which is a remake of a DS title. Came out back in, I think, 2008, which is being enhanced for Steam, PS4, Xbox One. First glance, you kind of look at it, it's kind of meh looking, but going by some of the reviews, it's got 8.6 from IGN, a 90 from Destructoid, saying it really is that good, which sounds like they kind of, you know, they can see those criticisms you see, because like when you play the trailer for this game on Steam, like the music isn't that great, like visually it looks like something you'd see out of a mobile game. But I think I actually remember, I think I might have played this game back in the day when if you had a Wii and a DS, you could download DS demos on your Wii and transfer them to your DS. I think they had like a demo for this game that was like the first couple of missions.
That's interesting.
Like, yeah, that was a very, very early state of, you know, playing demos for games. Oh my God, nostalgia. So yeah, no word on a price yet, but that comes out on May 30th as well. Next up, the new game from Tripwire. This has been in development for quite a while, I believe. It's Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. It's Red Orchestra series take on Vietnam. 64-player multiplayer matches. And yeah, Tripwire knows how to do their multiplayer stuff. It's coming out May 30th. It looks beautiful. It's retailing at $30, but if you looks like if you pre-purchase, you get it 25% off, which is a pretty good deal. So $22.49 if you want to pick that up.
Seems like a pretty good deal for a new Tripwire game.
For sure.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, yes they do. I do want to jump back into some Killing Floor 2. It's been a while since I've even touched that game, but it's a great time.
Killing Floor never gets old.
Definitely not. And next up, Tim, you expressed some interest in this. MXGP3, the official motocross video game coming to Steam, which is it's from Milestone. I know motocross, we don't really talk about motocross games on the podcast, but you know, I added this
that's because we haven't had the official motocross video game come across our desk.
Yeah, we've had these cheap imitation modes, but no, we've got the official shit right here. But yeah, May 30th that comes out. It's online multiplayer. But yeah, I'm just kind of skimming through the I should really read more about these games before I add them. But yeah, just visually it looks great. It's an Unreal 4. And yeah, should be a good time. No word on price yet though. Next up is Free Fall. The usual skim of indie titles didn't really turn out that well this week, but this was kind of like, I wouldn't pay more than the $5 for this game, but it's like it's a minimalistic arcade game where you're just free falling and you go whatever direction you move the mouse, and you're going through some like trippy environments. Look like you're inside of a lava lamp or something like that. So yeah, it looks like it this looks like a podcast game. I don't know if you remember that old term, but something to just put on mute, turn on your favorite KBMOD PC gaming podcast, and just play some free fall.
You mean to play while you're listening to a podcast, not while you're on the podcast, correct?
Yes. Never to play while on the podcast.
Okay, just clarifying.
No. The only acceptable activity you could do on the podcast is a fidget spinner, which,
Okay.
maintain that focus. Okay, next on the list
Spin.
is finally ending with a bang, Tekken 7 coming out on console and PC at the same time. It's not going full price. It's 50 instead of 60, which is nice. And yeah, it's the the epic conclusion of the longtime clan warfare between the members of the Mishima family. Now, I don't know if a sentence like that gets your loins rustling, but it does mine. I haven't played a single Tekken game in my life.
I've always played them in the arcades. I never played them on actual consoles. And they were, it's a different style of fighter. It's very, I don't know. Back when I remember playing it, it felt very floaty, is the best way to put it. Like all the movements felt very like, I don't know how to put it. I haven't played one recently at all. I'm just kind of curious to see how this port's gonna be.
You were talking about that earlier.
This is the first Tekken on PC, to my knowledge. So visually looks good. It's on Unreal. It's on Unreal 4. I know that. So visually it looks really good. I'm just kind of curious how the port's gonna be. Everything I've heard about the game, from pro players who have played it and stuff like that, they say it plays fantastic. Like there's nothing really bad to say about the game. Yeah. And it's just from them playing it at conventions or at majors and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how it actually turns out.
Yeah, they had a Tekken official tournament pre-release. I think either earlier today or yesterday.
Yeah, Combo Breaker had a tournament for it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and from what I saw there, it looked really well. It looked really cool. So yeah, I might be picking that up. Our new releases. Let's hit some viewer questions.
All right. Thank you, Katie. Let's see. Let's pop right into viewer questions. First question from Twitter comes from iLukeCS. He asks, in your opinion, what is the most underrated thing you can think of?
The most underrated thing I can think of.
I mean, initially, I just think the KBMOD podcast, but I think that might have been too easy of an answer.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that we're that underrated. We're kind of.
I would say. Yeah, you're right.
There's definitely better out there, but there's also a lot worse.
True.
Yeah, and if we're going strictly by being underrated or not, have you seen how many 5-star iTunes reviews we have?
Yeah, I was going to say, if we're talking strictly ratings, I don't think we're underrated at all, based on all the evidence I have. Well, no, we get we're rated exactly what we deserve, and that's 5 stars.
There you go.
I'll say boxers. I think boxers are pretty underrated. I'm pretty happy with some people are underwear people, some people boxer briefs, but I think boxers are underrated. Get some good breeze.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel shower beers are underrated. More people should try them.
Now, are you actually? Is that something you think is underrated though, or is that just something that a lot of people haven't tried?
I feel like people hear shower beer, they're like, why? And I feel like it's very underrated.
Okay. I've definitely heard, people seem to enjoy those. Not a beer guy myself, so I wouldn't know.
Shower cider.
Someone in chat said pineapple on pizza. You can get out.
That is very underrated as well. That's not even underrated. That's just controversial.
Yeah, it's just controversial. I think that, some people hate it, some people like it. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's a different debate. But I don't know about underrated though. Underrated is something that you're confident most people would probably like, but they don't think they like it yet.
This is a tough one. My mind just defaults to Dark Souls 2 is underrated, or Family Video is underrated.
Really?
But I need to think of something legit. I'm with you on boxers, though. I've never liked boxers. Boxer briefs are where it's at, though.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Fidget spinners.
Those are wildly overrated.
See, the problem with fidget spinners is now, because now it's like a meme that people don't like it. I couldn't even get one to try it and see if I like it because it's already has this negative
sold out.
perception out in the world.
Oh, really? I thought my sister went to get one for some reason. They were sold out at wherever she went to look. She looked too
mean,
hard, but
Yeah, but
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying though, is it's now associated with like small children. And so I can't get one even if it's a legitimately enjoyable activity. Because people are gonna judge me.
No, if you want something to actually fidget with, do the fidget cubes.
Those are cool.
Yeah. Like
I have
those,
a friend who. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like those actually have purpose other than looking cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got one. And I like it quite a bit. But
Okay. I have a friend who actually he took like a Wii nunchuck and like cut the cable off because it was already broken, and he like uses that to fidget with because it like fits perfectly in your hand. It's got like something for like 3 different fingers to do. That's been an interesting idea. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like a fidget spinner, you're putting too much thought into like it's not just like a
killing yourself with it?
subconscious.
not
Well,
losing
yeah,
an
that
eyeball.
too. Not, annoying everyone around you. But
Those things aren't safe. All right, man. Have
They
you
are.
seen the articles out there?
I had my 3DS next to me, and I was trying to do this insanely dumbass trick where you like spin the fidget spinner, put it on your elbow, and lift it and catch it. Ended up with a very small scratch in my 3DS. And, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think you deserve
you'll
that
never make it
scratch.
to grand finals with those skills, man. You need to.
Yeah, I'll never be the fidget spinning grandmaster dragon.
I hear they have that next to the vape cloud competition, so maybe you can
Oh my
come
god,
over there.
that has to be real. Vape cloud competition, like
Oh my god, I'm linking you right now.
that has to be real.
See,
Please.
the good thing is that now you'll remember every time that you think about doing that again. You'll remember because you'll look at your 3DS and you'll say,
I will,
I
yeah.
shouldn't do that."
And you'll know.
I'll see that small ass black scratch on there and think, damn, that little chip. That's because I tried to achieve, something beyond my league.
Yep.
And now every time I pick up my fidget spinner, I always look in my immediate vicinity to, see if there's anything.
Is the coast clear?
See the
Now,
coast
see,
is
now,
clear.
now
Exactly.
you practice proper fidget spinner safety. You didn't before. You were reckless.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I walked away with. I'm more cautious than I was before I had a fidget spinner. So.
Well, as long as you
I don't
learned
know if
your
I
lesson.
Exactly. That's what counts.
All right. Well, why don't you take that lesson right into this email from Minito Bussolini?
Okay.
Sure,
Now,
it's his real name.
Manito Bussolini sent in what I'm sure is a lovely email. I see my name in there several times, and so I've saved myself. I was able to keep myself unspoiled until now. But yeah, let's see. Manito Bussolini. Back in March of 2017, I was walking home late at night from farming, in all caps, and noticed that they were doing construction on the sidewalk, so I had to take. What? I'm sorry. It's not even funny. So I had to take the cornfield, but only corn in cornfield is capitalized. I don't know why that just got me. So I had to take the cornfield path. It was late at night. Stop. It was late at night, and there were not a lot of lights on this cornfield path, in all caps. So it was really dark. I look back and see this figure, about 5'3", approach me wearing a hooded sweater with a bunch of pixels and odd-looking stains on it. I try to run, but he is running too. Next thing I know, I feel a blow to my head and I'm on the ground. I look up and see the man lower his hood off his head, and lo and behold, it's Katie Zen. He says, "Give me your money, Baka." Oh my god. I throw him my wallet and tell him to take whatever he wants, but just not to hurt me anymore. Katie left, and I went home that night and stood in the shower with the hot water blasting, bawling my eyes out. Katie Zen is a bitch. What is your favorite barbecues meat? That's his question. It's just one line at the end of that email. But yeah,
Why did you take his wallet?
The fact that he used the word baka, that's an indication I was watching some anime, so that might have put me under the influence into like enacting out maybe a certain character.
I was gonna say I knew that he was somewhere near you when he mentioned that he had to take the cornfield path.
The cornfield path. I just want to apologize for like laughing much harder than I should have. Like just something about that, like odd capitalization can trigger me. But yeah, Manito, Mr. Bussolini, I'm sorry, man. And I'm not 5'3", just to clarify.
Yeah, that's a little generous.
Yeah, he's actually 4'10".
Yeah, 4'10". Like, yeah, this is me standing up right now.
You're standing up at your desk while we do this podcast.
I'm on my tippy toes. If I just stand normally, then go down to here. No.
Well, what is your favorite barbecues meat?
I'd have to say brisket is mine.
I was about to say brisket as well. Brisket's pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
You love a good brisket.
Easy question.
Actually, I think my answer, I mean, I really do like brisket, but I think my answer is like hot link sausage. I really like, I mean, like at a really good barbecue restaurant, I feel like hot links, that's just the thing I can eat constantly. But yeah, like just good barbecued hot sausage, like spicy sausage.
Yeah.
Mm.
Really, if barbecue's done right, you can't go wrong with any of it.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Being a Texan, I mean there's pretty much no barbecue that I won't eat. So it's picking a favorite it's like picking your favorite child, you know.
You're not supposed to, but you will.
Yeah, exactly. If you force me to, I will. That was pretty easy. Just brisket across the board, except for me. All right.
Yeah, brisket or ribs?
Oh, pork ribs. Pork ribs are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Now I'm actually changing my answer. Like really good
pulled
pork
pork.
Ribs. Oh,
It's
I
all
love
good. You can't go wrong.
yeah.
It sucks making a choice.
Oh man,
I just-
I haven't eaten dinner. I'm really hungry right now.
Grab the grill.
I could order some ribs. I really could. All right. Well, let's get to this last question here, so that I can achieve barbecues in after this. Zomagoras asks, if you could be sandwiched between any two dogs, what kind of dogs would they be? And he says, after clarification, he says, I should clarify laying with, not literally sandwiched. So in case there was any confusion, he means that you would not become part of a sandwich.
I was thinking.
Would it be a hot dog then?
Well, I mean, he didn't clarify if he's talking about breeds of live dogs or if he's talking about, you know, like basically laying with some hot dogs, laying with corn dogs.
Now, I want to clarify. We're already on thin ice from the Far Cry comments. He said laying with. Does he mean like just physically laying down with, or does he mean like the biblical implication of lying with someone? Because I just want to clarify. I don't
if
want
anything, that clarification actually opens up more questions.
Would someone have two different answers for that? Or... All right. Anyways,
for me, we have to pick two dogs. I've always wanted a beagle, and I will own a beagle someday in my life. So one will be a beagle, and the other will probably be
Corgi.
No. The other will probably be a Great Dane Mastiff. My brother owns two of them, and they're like gentle giants, and they're they're the size of a human when they stand on their hind legs, and they're just like so comfortable to lay against and just cuddle with and shit like that. So it'd probably be those two. I wouldn't want two of them because then you just wouldn't have space on the bed. But you
That's
get
true,
one of
there'd be
them
no
and a
room for
smaller
you.
dog, then you're good to go.
Okay. Would you let the
Now-
dog be big, like one dog's big spoon and one dog's little spoon?
Pretty much, yeah.
For me, it'd be corgis. They're just fucking cute, dude.
Corgi is a great answer, but I feel like if you're gonna lay with like corgis or like pugs, you need like 10 of them at a time to experience full bliss. Just
Yeah.
being overwhelmed with puppies. But like, okay, I'd probably take a beagle and a German Shepherd. Little spoon and big spoon, respectively.
Okay. I kind of like that idea. Like one you want to lay with one big dog and one small dog.
Yeah.
I'd probably say we had a dog when I was young that was a golden retriever collie mix, and it was very soft, just a good dog to lay with because it's got the kind of shaggy soft hair. I'd probably go with like a golden retriever and then maybe a corgi, something smaller. Be a good choice.
2 actual wild wolves.
I think the answer
Well,
there's no wrong answer here because dogs are
I
just so
think there
good.
could be.
It's true.
Like some dogs, Chihuahuas, like you can't
Mm.
comfortably lay down next to Chihuahuas because then you're like, you have to be really cautious. Like if you're laying down, let's say, what if you fall asleep and you have a night terror? Then you roll over in your bed and you end up suffocating one of those Chihuahuas because they're too small to escape. And then there are
that got
rat
dark.
dogs.
No, as soon as you start to roll, that dog will let you know you're moving. Chihuahuas
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
are angry little things when they need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's just no cuteness factor with Chihuahuas, in my opinion. I don't want to be anywhere near them. Yorkies too. I can't stand Yorkies. Or rat dogs. There are plenty of wrong answers to this question.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe you're right. You're right. I'm not a huge fan of those dogs either.
Yeah. It comes down to personal preference though. Like if you're into those, then But,
Yeah, some people love those types of dogs. I'm kind of with you. I've never really understood people that get, especially like more than one of those dogs. I feel like one would already be kind of a handful.
Oh my god, there are people out there that have like 3 Yorkies. Like, oh
You
my
just-
god, that thought is just disgusting.
Them and Malteses, when they get old and they start to bald, they're just kind of disgusting.
Oh yeah. Mm.
My aunts had 2 of them. The one died because it was old, and the other one it's not in good shape, and it's balding, and it's just like patchy hair here and there. It just doesn't look healthy, and I just wouldn't want to be.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want one, just because I would feel bad because it's like I should shave you, but then you're just gonna look even more disgusting. I just wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to deal with it.
You're right. Yeah.
How do we start roasting dogs? What the hell? How do we get here?
Well, someone asked if there are wrong answers to this question, and we just had to justify our.
Yeah, true.
There were indeed wrong answers.
Yeah, that's
Still a
pretty
good question, though.
Yeah, that is a
This
good question.
All I want to do now is just immediately cuddle with my dog after this podcast is over.
Cuddle
And
with
I
your,
wa- I
cuddle with
wanna
your dog and eat some
specify-
barbecue.
I need some ribs, yeah, or some. And I want to specify I'm cuddling. I'm not laying with my dog, people. In that regard, this question was terrible.
Appreciate that question. You can ask us questions. We call for questions before the podcast every week on Sunday. So if you have a burning question, you have many more chances in the future. So thanks for those questions. This is we're about at the end of the podcast, but this is normally where we would feature an iTunes review if we had one. We don't have one this week. Maybe it's possible that everyone who tried to leave a review this week was not able to figure out how to do so, because just trying to get the review for this week took, I don't recall the exact number, but it was like 9 mouse clicks and 6 keystrokes just for me to find the reviews. So look, I don't blame you if you gave up.
I would have given up personally.
Yeah, I don't blame
That's a
those
bit
of you that
much.
gave up after the 5th or 6th click. I understand. But for those of you who have not left a review yet, I very much recommend that you do so, Because if you
Yeah.
give us a 5-star review, we will almost certainly feature it on this podcast. We've featured a lot of different types of reviews before. Stories, genuine reviews of the podcast, people that love us, people that hate us. Look, it's all fair game, and we'd love to feature your review. And there's only one rule. What is it, KD?
It has to be 5 stars.
It has to be 5 stars. That's it. So
Yeah,
appreciate those of you that have left reviews before. But KD, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to, in an effort to connect with some people who might be on the fence about leaving an iTunes review. I see a lot of people every week. They're throwing out Twitter questions all the time, and they're just ass. They're either low quality questions or we've answered them before.
Okay.
And now, I mean, and listen,
blast.
anybody who thinks no. Let me clarify. Anybody who sends out a tweet, we love you. Like, if you're taking the time to reach out to us, we appreciate that more than you know. But a lot of people who send out tweets, one of their main, objectives, or like one thought's going through their head is like, oh, the possibility that I could be put on, my name could be said on the podcast, or they could say what I've said on the podcast. But if you put in an iTunes review, there's a almost 100% chance that you'll make it on, as long as it's 5 stars. Because if you're taking the time to rate us, as long as it's, not racist or, not violating any Twitch TOS, we're going to give you a shout out on the cast. So just consider that, and I'd like to apologize for my statement before. Like, not all questions are, I'm not saying there aren't any asked questions, but.
And you're
the
running
podcast
so
before
far backward, I can hardly see you anymore.
Yeah. Before I dig my hole any deeper.
Have you been taking
let's just
lessons
end
from
the
Chaz
podcast.
on how to backpedal?
Oh,
But
Yeah.
you do make a good point that if you do have something really important to ask us, the review section would be the place to do it. So leave us that 5-star review, and you know what? We will take a look every single week. We take a look. So give us those reviews. And I'm afraid this is the end of our cast this week. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on another episode 280 of the KBMOD podcast. If you want to connect with us and find us and follow us in various places, you can do so. We have obviously the website, kbmod.com, and you can probably find everything else from there if you try hard enough, but I'll help you out. We're all on Twitter. That's a good place to find us. I am at Volition. That's VOL1TION. Got Brad is at Hutchison15. KD is at KDZen, ZEN 18 on Twitter. And Tim is at StafuNoob, StafuNoob. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
nice.
And we are at KBMOD Gaming on Twitter. Not sure if I mentioned that. We do the podcast every week live Sunday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/KBMOD. So give our Twitch channel a follow if you haven't already. And we will see you next week for episode 281.
We also have a full stream schedule once again, every day except Saturdays now on the channel here.
We do.
So-
We have a lot of folks on the stream team who streamed the channel. We got some good shows there. You can find the schedule at kbmod.com, or look, just follow the Twitch channel and turn on notifications, and then just tune in for every show. That's all you need to do.
Get your money's worth for your sub.
Absolutely, give us that sub, and show your support each week when we do the podcast, and then throughout the week when people do shows on our Twitch channel. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Xbox, go home.